Well, speaking of plain common sense, we have coming up with us right now a man who had some common sense because he heard what his father had to say about his former home in Poland, and he decided he had to do something about it. Sounds a little mysterious, but we're going to get the whole story right now from Shlomo Taub. Welcome to the show, Shlomo.
Hello.
So
everybody.
I'm just gonna explain to the listeners who you are for a second and why you're on with us. Your parents are Holocaust survivors. You were born in Poland in Krakow in 1949. You and your mother and father stayed in Poland after World War II, where your father had a business until 1951. At that point, you made Aliyah. During your childhood, you heard your father speak about or hint about the fact that there were properties in Poland which belonged to your family. Maybe I'll let you continue from there.
Yes. During my childhood, we heard from parents that there were properties left in Poland, in Krakow, and it was actually a taboo to even mention this issue. And more than that, speaking about going there and trying to see the properties was something that was not even allowed to mention. My parents, after the war, they are war survivors. They put a dark line over the period, and actually they wanted to avoid it. And later on, when we grew up, I mean, when we were in our late 30s, I must say, my sister and myself, we decided to try to get more information, to get into the bits and pieces of what we have left there. And we were surprised. My mother played along with us, and she gave us more and more and more information, and slowly we decided that we are going for it. We picked up this glove, and I must say that from the moment that we started inquiring about properties that I'm relating to, it took less than 2 years, and we were Polish homeowners, I must say.
After two years after you started inquiring,
2 years after
you are now Polish homeowners. How did that happen?
What properties did your parents have?
We're talking about large apartment houses in Krakow, in the middle of the town, properties that for 50 years we didn't receive a cent for rent. Somebody in the place over there collected rent. Nobody ever put anything into the maintenance of the properties, and the properties stayed in a very good condition relatively, and they were ours. And the point is that as we grew old, the issue of that they were ours struck us more and more. The point is that
can you tell our listeners what happened to these properties?
Okay, what Poland did actually right after the war, when the Nazis went away from Poland, obviously. So
do we have to start when the Nazis invaded Poland, though?
Yes, it's important to mention that the Nazis actually didn't take away forever the properties. They just decided to confiscate with the rules of Nuremberg. But as they went away, so normally assets should go back to their owners, and this wasn't the case because of the communism. In 1989, until 1989, everything
so the properties after the Nazis were defeated, they went to the Polish government.
Yeah. The amazing thing is that Poland see themselves, the nation, as the rightful inheritor of the Nazis' property. They relate to those properties not as Jewish properties that lived there before. They just got it as present, and they, under the law of the Polish law, they took it. Point. And what they did, there was like a big vacuum of land and properties and factories and houses, and those places were filled up with Polish people who probably lived under worse living conditions, and it was good for everybody. There were no Jews.
Except for the Jews, who basically they had their properties stolen from them.
Yep,
mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Okay, so you became in touch with a lawyer in Poland, and that's how at least you were able to get back your properties.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And can you tell us how you found this person and how it came to pass? I understand there was a court case.
Yeah, it was in 1997 actually when I started to be more in touch with this law firm in Krakow. I was then a high-tech employee in one of the largest high-tech companies in Israel, and I during our businesses with Poland, I was inquiring who is a good legal firm that I could trust and work with, and that's how I got to this company.
Mm-hmm. What's the name of the company?
The name of the company is Centrum Pravne, and it's in Krakow, in the middle of Krakow. And one of the owners of this company is today my partner. Mm-hmm. And we together do whatever has to be done in order to retrieve properties to their rightfully owners.
So what did you do? How did you get your property back?
Okay. Our luck was that everything was actually written and registered by the government and in the city and in the tabu and the places over there. So we
registered in your father's name.
In my in my father's name and in my uncle's name, and everything was very good condition and exact, which means it was very easy to get an access for whatever we have. Mm-hmm. And we started it with a lot of hesitations, I must say, because we didn't know what we're getting into. And today I am doing for many, many others of what I did for myself, because I think that it's a must.
How many properties have you helped people retrieve?
Many dozens. Mm-hmm. We're talking about
now. What do people usually do with these properties? Just curious. Like, do people sell them, or do they collect rent, or do they go live in Poland? What are people doing once they get their properties back?
Everything that you said is right. Some people decide to sell immediately, and that's also what we do. Some of our clients decide to manage it. We didn't sell, we manage it. And some of the people decide part of the property to sell, part of the property to run. It's theirs, and it's their decision what to do. Poland is Europe today. I mean, if it was communistic Europe before, today it's Europe, and everything can be done in Poland today. I just want to highlight this point. When you think of Poland, you think of a war-torn country of World War II. You think of anti-Semitism, small farms, and aging factories. Think again. Poland has emerged from the darkness. Today it's a country of modernization. Today there are laws in Poland. There are Europeans since last May. And I want you to understand that what today was never there in Poland. What you can do and achieve today, now is the time to do it.
So, I mean, I guess in a case like yours where the records are there, so it's hard for the people who are holding the property to put up a good argument, have you encountered cases where it has been a tough fight?
Each case is a tough case. Each case is different than the other case. We have properties that are easy, which means they are registered on the names out there, and even that people live in the buildings, we encounter situations that the claimant is willing to even repay a certain amount of money to those tenants of today in order to evacuate the buildings and have a building that he can sell. Mm-hmm. A building with tenants is worth obviously less than a building without tenants, because then you can raise the value. But there are all kinds of problems. Governments put problems, tenants put problems, but everything can be dealt with today.
Mm-hmm. Tell us a success story of someone you helped.
Okay. One of our recent clients is coming with information about a building near a city named Lodz, which is one of the biggest cities in Poland. Just for your information, only Lodz, which was a city with about 1 million citizens, had about 400,000 Jews.
Wow.
So just to give you an information, what kind of Jewish population was in Lodz. It was not far away from outskirts of Lodz, and we go to the town looking for papers. We found all the papers registered on the sister of the grandmother of this man. And this man is a legal inheritor because he has all the legal rights to be a Yoresh, or to be an inheritor. Mm-hmm. Coming to the street in this city, the specific city, we see there's no street. I mean, the street was changed. The name of the street and the number that he gave us is not there anymore. But we found by our historians in the office, we have some that are dealing in the historical part of the job of ours. So we found out that the streets have changed names. If the number of the street before was 6, today it's 2. But we looked on the place, all the houses were erased, and the only house is the building of this client, and on the building, actually, the name of the family is engraved.
Oh, wow.
If the name of the family was Rubinstein, so Rubinstein is engraved on the top of the stones of the building in a very, very nice drawing. So nobody could say that Rubinstein didn't live there. He was one of the doctors in the area, and there are 7 tenants living in the building. There is a farm of about 10 dunams around, and 50 Polacks are having parnasa from this large lot.
Wow.
Parnasa means making a living.
Making a living, that's right. Making a living, I'm sorry. Yeah. What we did actually is, this was one of our first cases. Within like 3 to 4 months, we started to make the process of making this claimant an owner, and he can now decide what he is going to do with the area. Do
you encounter any negative reaction from the Poles who are being, accused of keeping this property that's not theirs? That you're taking, people say, "Hey, you're taking this property away from me." Or is there any anti-Semitism that you get?
Okay, in Poland there is a lot of anti-Semitism. I must say that whenever I come, me myself, to our properties, I can smell it, see it, and feel it.
Wow.
Because you can see, we have buildings with like 3-4 stories. You can see that the neighbors of the top floors are opening the windows to see who is the new face that is snoozing around, and she's shutting it with anger.
Oh.
Just to give me understand that I'm not welcome. And it is okay.
They can tell that you're Jewish?
Okay.
Or maybe they're just angry in general.
When I come
Bitter
to
about
no, they can't. But Polacks are very well aware of who is not one of theirs. So when somebody not from the street is around, they know.
Uh-huh.
And that's why I also never come there by myself. But it's not very
But
safe.
have you experienced any actual incidents of anti-Semitism where someone has cursed you for being a Jew? That type of thing. Because you're a Jew. You're coming to take back what's yours from them, they've had it. For all these
They've been
years.
taking a free ride for 50 years.
I mean, there must be some bitter feelings there.
Also, the Polish people have a little ambivalency about those Jews that are coming. I'll tell you why. Because until now, there wasn't an owner. And in a way, they are happy that there is an owner because they hope that the owner will fix whatever has to be fixed.
You mean the owner was the Polish government until now?
No. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And they obviously could not dare applying for any maintenance to be done to those properties because the government didn't have money to do it. And the rent obviously is very low also, so they didn't have from what to pay those maintenance. Suddenly there's the Jew. The Jew is coming and he's showing that I'm here, I'm alive, okay? So since I am the owner, and it doesn't matter that I live here, I keep getting, my customer keep getting letters from their own tenants that the roof is leaking, that you have to fix the roof, or some window has to be fixed. So obviously we, as Israelis, we know exactly where to send them and how to fix it, but
the Shiputnik has to come.
Oh yeah, sure, he will come. Mizrahi will come.
The installator, the
No.
plumber.
A little anecdote. A few years ago, I got a very heavy letter with Excel tables of what was spent on one of our buildings with details like sand, water, and men work and hourly work, and it came up to $12,000.
Wow.
And we were so happy that we got this because it was about a property that we never knew that it exists. So,
Shlomo, let me ask you, we're coming up to the end of the show, and tomorrow is Holocaust Remembrance Day, Yom HaShoah. What significance do you feel that your work, I just want to mention your organization is called Legacy. To retrieve Jewish property. What significance does it have to the day that we're coming up to tomorrow, Yom HaShoah?
Okay. The main issue is that we should be aware that those people, everyone has a name. We know every one of those people who perished in the Second World War has a name. My point is that Every place has a name, every community has a name, and every home has a name, because Rubinstein was living there and Rabinovich was living there. Those people who had property, those people who can detect addresses and names of property, go for it. Now is a time. We are now living in a window of opportunities that if we will not use it, our children will never use it because it's not in their head. Now is the time that Poland, when Poland is in the European community, that there will be a little bit more collaborative in order to give the opportunity to those to become owners. After you are an owner, you can sell, you can collect rent. Just go for becoming again an owner because it's your right and Poland has laws. That's my main thing. So if
let me ask you then, if people are interested in contacting you to get involved in this, how can they do that?
Excellent. Number one, we have a website. So our website is www.polishlegacy in one word, .4t, like Taub, the number 4 and t.com, and all the information is there. And our phone number is 097713811. I can be reached also through my cellular because I'm all over the country, 0546478908. Go for it. Don't give up.
Okay, I think a lot of people are hearing what you're saying, and maybe you'll be contacted by more Jews who have houses, land that was stolen from them, and they want it back. Thank you very much for being with us, Shlomo Taub.
Thank you very much.
Kol Tuv.
Bye-bye.